Welcome to our fans forum, our first fans forum in blooming ages. Is there anything to talk about? Probably. Do we feel optimistic? On certain days with a full moon, I can be persuaded to look at something above a fourth from bottom finish. Although I'd take that now. To be honest, I would bite your hand off and then I'd return your hand. I would issue an apology and I would pay for any rehabilitation costs the loss of said hand incurred. They can do incredible things now with hand surgery. Keep it iced. That's my advice. So I would advise you not to offer me fourth from bottom. There's a potential for you to lose a hand. I have warned you. So if anything, the hand loss situation, that's on you now. That's your fault. Shall we move on? How are you, Nick?
I'm very good, thank you. And apologies for not laughing at your joke. I read it last night on the script and laughed to myself then. So I saved my laugh for that day. So yeah, I'm good, mate.
Ages, absolutely ages since I last spoke to you, and that is generally the way I like it. I would ask how you've been, but judging by social media, nobody cares. So I will just say, are we staying up?
I think 10,057 people care.
Do you know what? I don't think Twitter followers is actually a sign of popularity. But maybe it is. We are looking at the first fans forum. Are we going to stay up? You've probably seen that on the image. I will ask you, Nick, are we staying up?
It's too early to say, innit? We need to see a few more signings through the door. And as long as Illiman stays, we've got a chance. We've got a chance. You could have National League players and Illiman playing up front, and he gives you a chance.
That's a way of looking at it. Yeah, Illiman staying would be absolutely enormous. I think what we do with Fans Forum, we always just get straight into it. Let's welcome our first guest. It is Scott of the Fans Forum, guest of 2023. Scott, how are you feeling ahead of the new season?
Optimistic, actually. Not too bad. Yeah. I think a lot depends on what Nick said, though. You know, if Illy stays, then I don't want to be that club that sort of gets promoted and we are weaker than when we started.
Absolutely. And you know what? You could argue that in some aspects with the Doyle and McAtee situation. I'd rather have them in our ranks than not have them. But anyway.
Absolutely.
Definitely. So the big one to start off with, Scott, are you buying the new shirt?
Of course I am.
Good man.
Actually, not be a Blade and buy the shirt. Do you know what I mean? I have a weird history with the shirts. As you just noticed, I've just literally ripped this out of the packet and I've had it for over a year. But
okay, go on. Explain.
I used to live abroad. I used to live in Norfolk, and I used to share a season ticket. So I used to think, well, how can I contribute to the club? I used to buy a shirt. And that was one of my contributions. But we've had some awful ones, haven't we? We've had some real humdingers. So
I'm still confused why you've just got it out of the packet and you've had it for a year.
I just don't really wear shirts. I don't really wear shirts generally.
Oh, I thought it was like a tradition that you open it.
No.
When there's a fans forum on or something
just spend
like
the 40 quid and then don't wear it.
What sponsor would you like on the front?
On the
if
front,
you got to choose
Meta, because they'll have a bit of money behind him.
It's true.
I see it. Okay, shirt chat tick. What are your thoughts, your honest thoughts on the squad currently, and how it would fare if we didn't maybe bring in too many more?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? Because you've got players that I think are definitely going to sort of like rise to the occasion. And I think you might agree with me on this, Hal, but I don't think Nick will. But I think Osborne might play a big part this season.
Yes, speaking my language.
Yeah. I genuinely think Osborne will play a big part. I think if he gets over his
knows ball.
He's technically good. But you've got people like, obviously, Anel is great. Illy, obviously. Let's hope Rian has a big season. Ollie Mack seems to have got his head into gear professionally now, which is great.
Yeah.
So there's lots of, obviously Norwood's class. If we can hopefully get some out of Fleck. Egan has shown that it can mark at international level. So they've got plenty of decent people. And obviously the new king of Bramall Lane, now Billy's gone. Well, sorry.
We all feel your pain.
King George. Yeah, we've got some emotion coming in. Yeah, King George. I think he'll be a massive part.
I'm a little bit worried because before you mentioned Illiman about how we're going to fare, you mentioned Ben Osborne. So I'm a little bit worried where your priorities lie right now, because if
He did it in order, Nick. It was clear. Osborne, Anel, and I. What's the problem?
I think Osborne is vastly underrated.
Yes.
Vastly underrated. He's technically good. He's no showstopper, don't get me wrong, but he's that kind of player that
give you that.
You know what I mean? Like look at when we had the injury crisis at right back last season. You got a left footer on the right side, totally out of position. He did us proud. He did us proud get those minutes that he played in that position. I think that the squad this season, the squad is going to be absolutely vital, and the sort of energy that's in. I'm genuinely more concerned about losing Billy, not from a player perspective, but from a dressing room perspective.
Yeah, and he's like the YouTuber of the squad, Nick. You know what? Like, you could probably relate to this. He might not be the best, but he puts a shift in every single time. He always turns up and he puts a shift in.
Isn't that what being a Blades about, though? Putting a shift in?
Absolutely. I always relate to and respect players that will give 100% every single game. Is Ben Osborne the best player on the side? Absolutely no way. Nor would he even claim to be. He's not even close. Of course, I'm not being serious about that, but I like seeing him out there when he's needed because of that versatility. He gives you an option. He gives you many options, and he will also work hard. Nick, we don't need to go on about Osborne for too much longer. I can already tell. We've
already spoken more about Osborne than I think I'm going to speak about him all season in match reactions because he's going to get that little of a game. Anyway,
you say that.
In case he watches this video, I'm going to move on and not annoy him anymore. So, Scott, the three that are going down, who are they going to be? And if you say Sheffield United, you will get kicked out of the stream.
Okay, well, I best not do that then. I think it's not as clear cut as we think. I think obviously it's going to be tough. I think Luton will be surprising because they were tough in the Championship. Let's be honest, they were really tough to break down in the Championship, and Edwards seemed to have got our number a little bit. But I think you've got a lot of unknowns in the division at the minute. You've got Everton obviously with clear problems, despite having a massive billionaire owner. They seem to be having real problems. But Dyche is in there, and that's always going to give you a fighting chance. But if you're signing Ashley Young, that's sort of progressive, is it, as a signing? Palace could be just going to be tough because it's Hodgson. But I think Forest, Everton, Bournemouth, I think Wolves might get drawn into it as well, to be honest.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, Burnley, right? Everybody's already saying that they're up. They've stayed up already, apparently, to most people. Is there a chance of Burnley going down?
Yes, of course there is. I think they're in the mix, but I think they've got a better than average chance. I think I look at them and think how they played. I mean, they didn't really have a game against us, did they? Because we beat them comfortably at home, and then it was kind of like a handicap in the away game. So,
well, with Ben Osborne playing.
All right, that's enough for that now.
Stop with the hating.
Pop in the comments below, whenever you're watching this, who you think the three to go down will be. Do you agree with Scott?
Yeah, go on. Give me some grief.
Yeah, give him grief. Give him whatever thoughts you actually have in there. And, I think there might have been some mistranslation as well with Everton. You can imagine with Sean Dyche speaking to the scouting department, something along the lines of, I said sign a young player. Yeah. And a young has turned up. If you put yourself in the board's shoes and imagine this scenario, Paul Heckingbottom starts badly. Scott, would you do anything?
No. Why not? Why? Why would you? This is a long-term project. I think the good thing about what we've got at the minute, and actually one of my concerns about a takeover, is that the Prince, he might be like a council estate prince, as in he's got no cash whatsoever. He's like, you know what I mean? But I mean, of all the Saudi princes, we've got probably the worst off. But tell you what, he's got some cojones because he gambled with Berg and Ndai last season in January, and he stuck to his guns, and fair play to him. We've had many chairmen that would have capitulated at that point with some offers coming in. But I think that what we're trying to go for now is the uncut gems. Reminds me a bit of Brighton on a lower budget. We're just trying to get where the players, and let's be honest, Brighton have done fantastic. Brighton are now almost like the blueprint for what we should be aiming for.
I think this blueprint has been around for a while. I did a video on why Sheffield United went down from the last time we were in the Premier League. And we were hearing about signings that we were interested in, that are like Thomas Souček, for example, and Trossard, and these sort of players. It looked like we were after those sort of players for a while, but for whatever reason, they didn't transpire. Osimhen, another one that we were apparently looking at. Anyway, Nick, I'm going to let you fire one final question at Scott.
It's really important. It's almost as important as the shirt question. Comeback Kid, Joker and the Thief. What is the next walkout song? Or are we going to keep Joker and the Thief?
Big.
I mean, I do like Joker and the Thief. I do like Wolf Mother. They've got that kind of energy for them. I generally do like, I mentioned it to you earlier on, Burn the Empire by the Snuts, because it's got that sense of we're up against the Premier League elite and that whole VAR rubbish that we had last time and all that kind of, Klopp dissing Wilder and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Let's take it to them. Let's go in full gusto.
It's got that meaning behind it.
Yeah, so it's got meaning behind the song.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and I've go on, Nick.
I'm nodding away, but I've got no idea how that song goes.
Well, Scott has actually agreed to perform the song.
I think we'll leave that until Johnny, shall we?
Sorry.
Have you got it there? You can't play it. We'll get done. We haven't got the license.
That's why I played 2 seconds.
2 seconds is fine. I've very much enjoyed that. 2 seconds. I very much enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate you chatting with us. It's been a pleasure. We'll get you on again. It is now time to welcome a familiar face. It is Johnny from Shoreham View. Oh, he's wearing
the brand new shirt.
I forgot that.
Yeah, I forgot that from Turkey.
We need to talk Turkey, actually, Johnny. That Turkish knockoff shirt you shared on social media, it gained a bit of traction, didn't it? Describe it for those that haven't seen it, please, mate.
So it was a horrendous mock-up of a mock-up kit that came out last year. Posted it out because my cousin, I think you know him, Tricky, he sent to me while I was on holiday in Turkey. He goes, "Oh, I've been assured this is a new shirt." And I went, "No, that is not the new shirt. that is not the new shirt."
Was it not close, though?
No, absolutely not. It was like Southampton's kit from, 2007? More like that, with the horrible stripes.
It's not close.
Stripe
yes.
Does not mean it was close.
And it had a collar that just, ends.
An inverted collar. It looked more like the Premier League relegation collar from last time.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah, this new one's a little bit better. Looks more like this original one without the tassels.
So, what have you made of the new home shirt?
I absolutely despise it, as you can tell by the fact I'm wearing this one. No, it's brilliant. Love it.
You love it.
I love it. It's first thing on my shopping list. It's first time in quite a while. I've thought, you know what, I'm going to go out and buy it straight away. I love a retro nod, as you can tell by the fact that I'm still keeping hold of these. I'm just hoping we follow it up now with the best ever away kit and model it on the White Wards one.
I thought that Wes's keeper kit looked a bit like that.
It were. I'm wondering if that's what they're going for, the nod of the 98 altogether for that home kit, and then maybe they'll do a different year for the away one.
Yeah. Hopefully. Let's talk about next season. Obviously, you go to as many games as you possibly can. Which ones are you looking forward to next season? And is there any that you've not been to?
Premier League this year. I've been to Luton. I don't actually remember any games. I either get thrown out or walk out because it's been absolutely terrible. So Luton will be nice.
One time at Luton where, I don't even think you recognised me.
Yes.
I remember that, yeah.
That was a day. Allegedly, I was there in spirit.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to actually go to Luton and now I'm not drinking as much, actually take Luton in for all its glory and beauty and wonder. But no, I think I've done all of the Premier League grounds there is to do, but I will be looking forward to being Tottenham again. Obviously, you can't not love that stadium. As far as modern stadiums go, that's up there with the best of them. It's not a generic soulless ball. They've actually put some character into it, which is good. And you know what? I'm going to look forward to the lesser ones. Trying to cram a ticket to Bournemouth is always exciting, and Forest away, etc. So it's the away games I'm looking forward to. I love Bramall Lane, but I'll be there week in, week out, whether it's Premier League or Conference North, God forbid. So the away games, while we get a chance, I'll be there to all of them because enjoy it while we can.
Well, I asked Scott this question, which 3 teams are going down?
If we can escape it, if we can have a good season, if we can bring in the reinforcements we need, etc., and a long list of things happens and we stay up, I think the 3 going down are Burnley rock bottom. I think they're doomed. Absolutely spanned. They're a good, progressive, wonderful team, but we spanked them 5-2. Went to their ground with a better team until Wes got sent off. The teams, Burnley like to attack teams. That suited us to a T, and it will suit teams in the Premier League to a T, and they will get annihilated a lot of weeks, I think. So I think they're going down rock bottom, followed by Everton. I don't think Sean Dyche is going to have the recruitment to save them, as good as Sean Dyche can be in that situation. Good manager for that level, good manager for that situation. He's going to have his hands tied, unfortunately, and I don't think they'll bring in the right people. Followed by Forest, because it's Forest and I can't stand them.
I think you're going on heart rather than head here, Mr.
I always
Johnny
go on
Shoreview.
heart on head. When do I ever use my head in these situations?
Where are Luton finishing then?
They're going to finish probably around 17th.
Around 17th. Okay, they're just going to stay up. So let's talk about the first few games, Johnny. So Palace at home, Forest away, Man City at home, Everton at home. How many points are we picking up from those first four?
There's one in there that on paper we're definitely not going to win.
Everton at home.
Exactly, yeah.
There's
one in there which it's a gimme, and we're just going to think back to the wall. We lost 3-0 at Wembley, but we didn't embarrass ourselves. Go out and build on that. The other ones, I think Forest at home's going to be very telling. I think with the home atmosphere, if we can get the atmosphere back to what it was like pre-COVID, Palace are going to have a tough time. And I think we can start off strong with maybe a 1-0, 2-0 win. Forest is going to be one of them games where it's a bit like, we all know how it ended last time after the playoffs and all the, let's say, the heated environment it will be. I do not look at Forest as a team we should be worrying about playing. I think they're a team that we can go out and absolutely cause problems with the squad we've got now, never mind with reinforcements in the team. I don't think they've gelled very well. I think Gibbs White, as good a player as he was, I don't think he's a patch on Illyman. So I think we got the better of the two in that instance. As good as he is, I'm not downplaying him. He's a brilliant player. I think we know how he works, and I think we can. I'm not going to say neutralise because he has got that skill in the locker. I think we can handily deal with him, and I think those first two games will kind of set a precedent for the season. If we go to those two games and we absolutely collapse in on ourselves, that's a bad sign for the season. If we go out there, give them a game, steal 3 points, win 3 points comfortably, I don't care how it happens. Get 6 points in the first two games and we're in for a good season.
Question for you, Johnny. Morgan Gibbs-White, is he getting booed?
Depends on his attitude for the build-up. If he comes out and he's like, I love my time at Sheffield United, but obviously I'm doing my best to get 3 points for Forest, fair enough. You had a good season, well played for you. If he comes out and it's arrogant, I love it here at Forest, Sheffield United on a patch, blah, blah, blah. Greatest fans I've ever played for Forest. He's just going to get scab all game, and rightfully so for being a wind-up merchant.
He won't have a clue what that's in reference to.
I don't think a lot of our younger fans do.
No, I think you're right. But, we need to learn them. Johnny, as always, a real pleasure. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Stop swearing.
Stop drinking.
He's doing well on that, in fairness. Johnny, I really hope to see you. Give you a big cuddle next season. Thank you so much, mate. Always good to see you. Cheers. Let's bring Jimmy in from Blades Ramble. Here he is in his familiar surroundings of the kitchen. But what a guy. Time to bring the irrepressible Jimmy from Blades Ramble. How are you, sir?
Thank you. What a lovely introduction from you there, Hal. I just need to check that I can get in shot. That's all. Am I good?
Get his breasts in.
Outrageous scenes, unbelievable scenes.
Is it too much? If it's too much, I can always.
Yeah, just pull it down a bit.
I'm going to pull it on your face. That's the best. Yes. I'm sick of seeing you today, Jimmy.
I know, mate. I know. Sorry, I kept you a while in this morning.
We had such a long chat today because I'm going on the incredible Blades Ramble.
You are, mate. You are. And yeah, I've got myself a 6-parter there. So thank you very much for rambling on with me, mate.
Well, that's why it's called the Ramble. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to mix things up. We're just going to throw a load of questions at you. It's going to be a little bit more quick fire. So is Illyman and Dye staying at Sheffield United?
I hope so. It's looking a lot more likely now, isn't it? I was convinced he wasn't. I'm still not entirely sure that he definitely does beyond this season, but I think it's the most likely scenario now is that he at least stays with us. Whether he signs a new contract or not, it looks like he's staying with us. So fingers crossed. To get that contract over the line would be absolutely unbelievable. Because I agree. I think he's a difference maker. And yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, to think that we'd all sort of half assumed he were on his way. When that Marseille interest sort of started peaking, you think, oh, and then an apparent turnaround. So yeah, absolutely fantastic if we can keep hold of him.
It'd be the best news. It'd be the best news. And which areas of this team need improving most, in your opinion?
Ooh, I'm going to be slightly controversial. I think we could do with a goalkeeper.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I know. I'm sorry. I think we could. Yeah, I'm not saying we have to splash the cash on a keeper. I know we're linked with Kakir, is it? Hal, you'll tell me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, mate. But
after my pronunciation of Twa today, for Larouci.
Honestly,
do you know what I did? I googled it, and if you do Google Twa, it comes up with this woman saying Troyes. I was like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound. I'm going with it. The internet said it's Troyes, but I knew it was Twa. And anyway, I've been getting grief. So yeah, Kakir. I'm going to say the Turkish.
I had the same. I did a ramble last night and I mentioned Troyes, but on one of our shorts, Hope pronounced it Twa, and she's much posher than I am. So I'm going with Twa.
I like Hope because she makes me appear less posh. So it's absolutely fantastic.
I like to think of her as a bit of a female Hal.
She's much easier on the eye, let's be fair.
Well, I'm not going to argue that. She got rid of a goatee just for the ramble. So
superb.
Right.
I can't remember what the question was.
We've definitely come to the end of that question. Now, retained players, Jimmy. Do you think we kept the right players?
Yeah, I think we got rid of the right players. I think I was surprised, and I'm sorry, Scott, because I did watch you first up. Osborne would not have stayed for me. I know he's a utility man. He couldn't get in the team in the Championship. I don't know what we've done there or why. And Fleck wouldn't have got another deal for me, if I'm honest. So yes, we made the right decisions in terms of who we got rid of. I would have got rid of a couple more.
How big's your squad going to be, Jimmy? It's a tough old season. Boots will be flying. There'll be some injuries. What if, God forbid, and it's actually been said here, what if Ndiaye gets injured? We need players, and we can't go into the season with 17 players. So whilst we wouldn't necessarily, in an ideal world, keep some of these, you need bodies for a Premier League campaign, surely.
I get that, Hal, and I'm not absolutely right. I take what you're saying, but we are looking to get, 6 players in total? So we've got 2 of them in now, 4 left to get. That will take us up to, a 25-man squad? If we had a 23-man squad and a few men from the youth team backing that up, I don't think we're any weaker. I would be playing players like Andre Brooks before I'm playing Fleck or Osborne in centre midfield. I think now we've got Larouci, and I think it's going to be Max Lowe, because I think Reece Norrington-Davis will hopefully be tried at left centre-back when he's fit. But now we've got those 2 left wing-backs. I don't think Osborne's going to be needed there either. So I think it was a bit of a panic decision, because we didn't know what the budget was going to be or what the numbers were going to be, what we could attract, that sort of thing. So let's just keep what we've got. And I don't think they're going to be used an awful lot this season. Apologies again to Scott, who thinks, he's going to be a star man in the Premier League, young Jose, and I hope he's right. I can't see it. I'm siding with you there, Nick.
Youngsters-wise, you were saying about maybe throw a couple into onto the bench and stuff. Which ones would you pick first?
And let's remember, just for those just joining, Ollie Arblaster has joined Port Vale. So we'll just add that.
He has joined Port Vale. Yes, he has. Finley Potter's just gone to Barnet as well, hasn't he, on a season-long loan to join Zach Brunt, who's gone permanently. So, yeah, there may not be many of them left, to be honest. And I would probably, now that we've decided to retain Fleck and Ozzy, I would lean away slightly, unless they're going to have some minutes on the pitch, unless you intend on using them. I think the only exception to the rule will be Jebo, because I think part of his contract negotiations, he'll try and negotiate first team minutes. But the rest, I think we're doing the right thing. Ollie Arblaster out, get 46 or at least 40 games under his belt. Even if he's not getting it team, just battling to get into the first team and in and around it. I think it's really smart. Harry Boyes, I'd have liked to have seen him go to the Championship back in League One with Wickham. As long as they're getting regular minutes, I think it's good. I think we saw with Louis Marsh the other day at Chelsea, could probably do with a loan, and whether it's League One, League Two potentially, but just to get him used to men's football. But that kid is going to be a star. Absolutely. I heard you talking earlier, Nick, about Sai Sachdev, another one who's going to be a real good player for us. I think he's overtaken Femi Sariki for me in terms of our real youth prospect. And Femi Sariki's a beast. He's an athlete. He gets up and down, but Sai's come on so much. The problem with that is we've got Baldock and Bogle in front of him, so he's not going to get the minutes because they're too. It's probably our strongest position in terms of quality. So let's get him out, get him on loan to League Championship if we can, but only if they're going to play in League One. Get them some minutes because that's going to bring on their development. And whatever happens to United after this season, they're going to be a much better player for that experience, hopefully.
Absolutely. I think at right wing back as well. I think Hecky would probably trust Bash more at right wing back than a youngster, especially in the Premier League. So next season, how confident do you feel going into the Premier League season?
I'm okay, to be honest, at the minute. I'm all right. I'm much better now. It looks like Illiman might stay. I was always in two minds about this Illiman thing because I was of the opinion that he walks out for nothing at the end of the season. So then it should be a case of, do we sell him now? Because yes, he gives us a much better chance of staying up. He's our best player. I don't think there's much debate about that. But you're then hanging everything on survival. So is it a smart business decision by the club to say, we're going to be under so much pressure to stay up because we've kept Illiman, because it's a double whammy in walking out for nothing if we get relegated. But now it looks like there's an half a chance he could sign a deal. I think it's fun, absolutely bring it on. Let's, even if it means he's only with us another 12 months, but then we get a fee for him because he's done well in Prem. But yeah, I'm quietly confident. I think I said last night on Ramble, I think we've grown complacent a little bit as a fan base, and I include myself in this sometimes. I have to check myself. We have got a really good squad already. Players like Anel, Berger, and I know his contract situation's up in air as well. Illiman, the Premier League players, no doubt about it. George Baldock for me is a Premier League player. John Egan will definitely hang in the Premier League. So you think about if we get one or two additions that are also of a similar quality, we've every chance of staying up, of putting in a real good season. We're a difficult side to beat. We don't give ourselves enough credit a lot of the time in that regard. I think we'll surprise a few. I'm not saying we'll definitely survive, but I'm very optimistic that we can do well next season.
Oh, good. That's what we like to hear. It really is. So talking about transfer business and the transfer strategy that we're going for, are you happy with what we're doing and the transfers that we've brought in up to now?
Yes, I am. I think you've got to be. As soon as you accept the financial position that we're in and the fact that I think we all realise now, following your chat with Darren on your channel, that what the dire financial situation was going into the beginning of last season. So holding on to that Premier League squad for another season and the finances that are involved in doing that, not selling anybody, we were in dire straits. And if we hadn't got promoted, we wouldn't be worrying about sending our blaster out on loan because he'd be in Middle Park every week next season because we haven't got the money to sort of progress. So this strategy of, look, we're not going to give you loads for transfers. We've got to be really smart in the transfer market. It just solidifies us as a club. It sort of resets the foundations again. We've already got a very good squad. And I think just to build on that with tweaks and things of that nature, yes, it doesn't give us as much of a chance potentially than if we were to throw 100 million at it. But we've done that before and it don't necessarily guarantee success, does it? So I trust Hecky with it. I think Anel gives us all a lot of confidence in what this scouting team can do in terms of dipping into the foreign market, which is not something the club's done historically an awful lot. So yeah, I'm quietly confident. I think the loan to buy options are smart business things, and going for a young, unproven kid in Traore who looks like he might be next through the door. It's a win-win. if he comes in for 3 to 5 million, around the 5 million mark, we think 20-year-old scored 12 goals in 14, 15 games. How can we lose? He's not going to lose that value, even if he, we might get 3 million for him if he plays 20 games, scores 2. So it's a smart strategy. I like what we're doing. We're bringing the age down of the squad. We're being smart with our money. And yeah, I like it. I like the transition into this sustainable model.
Yeah, me too. And fees in Scandinavia seem to be what I consider still sensible football fees. Finally, Jimmy, which player will have the biggest impact for Sheffield United in the upcoming Premier League season?
Do you want to stop me there, Nick, before I say Illiman? Because I'm not allowed to pick the favourite, am I?
It's boring. So boring.
I think, yeah, we'll get the boring one out of the way. We'll take it as read that I think Illiman will absolutely step up to the plate, and I think he could score double digits for us this season if he stays. Who do I think will step up? Well, we've mentioned those that I think are Premier League players. I think Anel can't get forgotten about. He's not been tested at this level, but I think he'll surprise a few people in terms of how he'll come on. But in terms of players that we don't necessarily know about and things like that, I'm very hopeful about Traore and Slimani. How are they going to get on at the level? And I think Slimani in particular, being a flair player, I'm not saying he'll be an absolute superstar from day one, but I'm really excited to think we can bring on some legs like that on 70 minutes and run some defences ragged. You won't want to play against him, would you? So, yeah, I'm hoping Slimani's our little surprise. Not Slimani, Traore's our little surprise package in the Premier League next season. We shall see. We shall see.
We shall see. Jimmy, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure getting you on the channel. From Jimmy to Luke, we go now. Luke Van Dome, always good to get Luke joining us again. How are you, sir?
Good evening, gents. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Glad to be back.
Oh, it's good. It's good to hear your voice again. This is like a little reunion, Nick.
We've missed you. We've really missed you.
Come back.
I've missed you, boys. But I've been watching. And I've been
the
loving
last
it.
time I saw you, we went to the match together, didn't we?
We did, yes.
I can't remember which game that was.
I was about to say the exact same. I can't remember. No, I don't think we did win. I think we were both a bit upset, to be honest. But yeah, that's being a Sheffield United fan, isn't it? That's how it goes.
Hal, are we going to try and convince Luke to start doing the fan cams again live on air?
Oh, no pressure. But if you think Luke should bring fan cams back, pop it in the comments and hit like.
Oh no!
I was talking to Jimmy about that earlier on, and Jimmy were like, "Luke were great when he did fan cams." I'm like, I know.
Nah, I loved it. I tell you what, I got some hammer though, and I don't. Obviously we get beat. I'm putting a camera in your face. I understand it. Look, fans are upset, and it's the first thing that they want to do, be asked about it. Some of them, yes. Some of them told me exactly what they thought about me putting a camera in front of them. So, yeah. Last 5 minutes of a game got even more nervy for me.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think you missed a goal or two as well, didn't you?
Oh, I did.
Peterborough, when I was with you, we had to leave a little bit early just to catch people. Yeah, it was mad.
Anyway, shall we start talking about this actual video that we should be talking about now?
Quiz me. I've done some research. I've done some research.
So this squad that's going up this season, is this as strong as the one that went up with Chris Wilder in 2019?
Well, I had a look back because I reminisce, and I suppose you remember the standout players, and I had a look at who we don't have that I would love to have that was going up. For one, Jack O'Connell. I'm like that version of Jack O'Connell, especially in the season when we were in the Prem. You're thinking genuinely potential England call-up chance, that sort of stuff. Obviously, we know what happened to him, and it's a crying, horrendous shame. The other players that stuck out to me, obviously Duffy went in, asked for that contract, and got told where to go. Didsey, I know, Nick, how you feel about him. And I know that
I'd still sign him now.
Yeah, look, I love Wes as well, by the way, but we did go up with Dean Henderson and we got Hendo again on loan. And for us, I know he's not just had the best campaign ever, but for us, he was brilliant. Henderson's relish, it's a match made in heaven. And I also look back at John Fleck, that iteration of John Fleck, incredible. But that being said, how we did that season, even the season in the Prem, was it down to any individual great player? No, it was down to everybody working hard And I still think that we have that same ethos, but we have got a jewel in that crown now. So obviously being Illy. So I don't know. I would maybe say a little bit weaker just because of, for example, our back three back then. I know we've got an L now, but Bash, Egan, and Jack O'Connell, I would just, oh my God.
It picked itself, didn't it? And it's their understanding. You felt like, because we didn't score a lot of goals that season, you just felt like we weren't going to concede a lot. And when we did concede, like Brighton at home, I remember, we played Brighton at home off the park. And when we did concede, we drew 1-1 because we had a goal in us. Very rarely did we have more than one goal in us. And if we did have more than one goal in us, we'd usually win. But it was one of those where I always felt confident at the back. And I think you're right, though. This time around, on paper, apart from Jack O'Connell, I'm really confident with that back line. Because, I mean, Bulldog's playing the best football Bulldog's played.
Yeah, he's class. It comes down to Larouci, me, for our defence this season, because that Bulldog definitely Premier League quality, I agree. And then the back three, and old long throw, your biggest fan, Hal. See how he gets on in the Prem.
See, Luke was actually there when Jackie Long Throw, big fan as the trademark, was created. And that was Luton away. That was the first fan cams. That was Jackie Robinson walking past us, me asking if he could have a quick word, him pretending he was busy, and me panicking. It
was the nicest rejection.
It was a lovely rejection. It was a lovely rejection. No, I'm busy, lad. And I just said, okay, big fan. And you guys laughed at me mercilessly, in case you haven't heard that story before. Anyway, Luke, sorry.
I'm sure everybody has.
Just in case. You never know. New viewers all the time, new subscribers. I'm getting people from all over the world joining the channel.
Oh, before we go into the next one, before we came on this stream, we were 8 subscribers away from 17,000.
Oh, get subscribing now. Look, just down here. Press it, wherever it is.
That's insane.
Go on.
Really?
Yeah. What? Do you think I'm lying? Live on air?
No, absolutely not. I just haven't checked. I've never got a clue how many subscribers we've got. Look, what do you make of Sheffield United's transfer approach this season, which appears to be younger players? So we're going lower age for the whole squad and from overseas.
Well, let me consult my research once again. So there are 2 clubs that stand out to me as sort of off league, to quote recruiters, Brentford and Brighton. I'd look at the more obvious one of Brighton. 5 million euros for Caicedo, 8 million for McAllister, 3 million for Matoma. Like, this is a sort of approach that we're taking where, like we were just saying before, you can't really lose, for example, on Traore at £3 million because he flops and you're going to get probably £5 million because he's got Premier League experience. So you've made a profit either way. And then I thought about our business before and I look at Brewster, love Brewster to bits. But when we speak about injuries, so you say you spend 20 million on Brewster, you've got 20 million pounds of a player there who's injured and tied up. If you spread that across 4 players, you only need one of them to become class. And it takes the pressure off the other 3. We've probably got a 20 million pound player for 3, 4, 5 million. So I just think it's a much smarter way of doing things. These players potentially, if God forbid we got relegated, would most likely play for us in the Championship or fetch a profit and a nice fee. And again, we go back to that sustainability. So I just think very intelligent. It's weirdly intelligent for Sheffield United. Very, very joined up thinking. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think it's great. It's a very good idea.
Apologies for this, Luke. I'm going to put you on the spot here a second. So those players that Brighton brought in, I don't actually know what leagues they came from. Have you got any ideas of where, like, kind of Mitoma came from and McAllister and
Put
stuff?
him on the spot.
I know. I apologise before.
Outrageous.
Well, I know Mitoma did come from Japan. I have got it up here anyway. No, not
yes,
he's
of course
Japanese.
He came from Japan.
No, he's Japanese, but he did come from the Japanese league. And then, bear with me, as if edited on the spot.
While you're having a look, that's the only thing that's worrying me because of Sweden, like coming from Swedish leagues, Danish leagues, and things like that. I'm a little bit worried, but at the same time, they're always going to keep the value, like you said. McAllister,
a reserve team in Argentina. Do you know what I mean? It can happen.
Yeah.
He comes from a family of footballers as well. McAllister, his dad was actually a centre back. Anyway, this is unrelated to what we're actually talking.
Yes,
Look, don't worry about looking at where all these players came from. Yeah, don't indulge Nick for too much for these crazy questions. But Nick, go on, ask him a proper question.
Well, the only reason why I said that is because I'm trying to make everybody feel better that we're buying from Swedish leagues and Danish leagues. But if you want to be like that, be like that.
Well, Swedish leagues and Danish leagues is Brentford all over. So just look how well they've done.
And that model works. I think you've summed it up perfectly, Luke. I'm very excited. I think this model has existed for ages. I think this is the way Sheffield United did want to go. We have now finally been able to implement that. And you're right. It's something to be excited about for years to come.
Absolutely.
There we go. And so, Luke, where are you thinking that we're going to finish next season? I want a position now.
It's like your honeymoon.
God, goodness. My heart says I would love us to finish. I'd take anywhere above the relegation zone. My heart says 16th. Why not? A punchy 16th. My head says it's going to be a real battle. I'm under no illusions. I think potentially 18th. Potentially. Sorry, I'm so negative.
Is there a way that we finish rock bottom?
I don't think. Do you know what? Luton is such a weird entity next season. Like on paper, they should be rivaling Derby here. Like they should be. But Luton outdo themselves every season, and it's annoying. And I have a very good friend who's a Luton fan, and I hate it. But they're a bit of an unknown. For me, they've got to still be favourite to finish bottom. I don't think it's us. I think there are some teams that are in trouble that have been sort of ignored. Wolves are in trouble. They're just losing players left, right, and centre. They might lose a manager. So yeah, I don't think we're there to be embarrassed at all.
Okay. Now, the biggest question of them all to finish off: what is the away kit going to look like, and what do you want it to look like?
Wow. I had a look back at, because we're going down this retro road, aren't we? And I'm all for it. I love it. The 93-95 away kit, purple and green. It looks both hideous and gorgeous. And that is exactly what I would like. I think realistically,
was that sash?
Yeah, it was. It's just gorgeous. I wish that we could somehow overlay it right now. But I think they might do something similar to what you're wearing now, Nick, maybe. Or I don't know, because we've just done it with the re-release.
Yeah, I don't think they will for that reason.
Yeah, true. Okay, I'm just going to say 93-95. Purple and green, why not? It's just
one
crazy.
Of my favourites.
It's beautiful. If you've not seen it, fans, have a look.
I sold my original just before I moved, and it's something I think about, I think, every hour of every day since. Yeah,
I tried to buy one, £200. So
we should have tried to buy mine because I wasn't selling it for anywhere near that much. Anyway.
There was also a third green kit as well that season as well that I remember vividly and really, really enjoyed as well, like a weird little green kit.
Oh, is it? Aaron bought it off me. Well, I hope it's gone to a home that appreciates it, because my wife was furious at me for selling that one, because she reminded me after I'd sold it that she bought that for me.
Ooh.
So,
it's almost like when somebody gets you a shirt, you go and sell it on.
Okay, now Nick, in fairness,
that's not happened before.
You knew I was moving. That was Nick is.
I've stumbled into something here.
Nick, we'll have this domestic elsewhere.
Yeah,
Luke, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Fan cams obviously now officially needs to come back. It's come up in the comments, so that's your weekends sorted.
Lovely. Thank you, boys.
Cheers, Luke. Always great to get Luke back on. Thanks to all our guests for joining us today. We really appreciate them giving up the time. Please drop this video a like. Let us know your thoughts in the comments whenever you're watching this as a video, or if you're listening on our podcast, share what you've made of it by giving us a review on iTunes. Seriously, any danger of a review on iTunes with the amount of listens we get, that's not reflected in the reviews. We'll be back with more great free content very, very soon. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for watching Up the Blades.